Good morning. Welcome back to I Create for You. My name is Lori, and we have another Ghost Among Us story today. It's called Last Words, and these are letters that were written to authors and are now included in this book by this author. So, this is all in a letter form that telling what their ghost experience was. It's from Yanula Mini. I am working up the nerve to tell you of a very strange experience I had in Washington, D.C. many years ago. When I was 16, I went out east to participate in a program to study Congress. As the only liberal in a group of 50 teenagers, I tended to get ganged up on in debates. During one particularly lively debate on Social Security, I got pushed over a chair, spraining my ankle. The emergency room was busy, so I was placed in a curtained-off area to wait until a doctor was available. The curtain next to me opened slightly, and I saw another teenager on a gurney crying. I could see that she was a very pretty black girl, despite the fact that her face and chest had been cut so badly. She'd evidently lost a lot of blood. Her face was pale, and her eyes stared as if she couldn't focus. I asked her what was wrong, and she told me about a ghastly R word at knife point. Still crying, she rolled over and went to sleep. Eventually, a nurse came in to see me. "Will Sharon be all right?" I asked, angry that she had been left alone when she was clearly in so much pain. Looking startled, the nurse asked me what I was talking about. I told her that I had been chatting with the girl, and she had told me all about her R word. Very much to the nurse's credit, she believed me. Since I could not walk at the time, there was no question of my having gone into the next cubicle to read Sharon's chart. She also did not tell me that the girl had died 20 minutes before I arrived and was no longer in the adjacent cubicle. I found that out later, after the nurse had fetched a police officer. To this day, I do not know if the nurse told the officer when I had the conversation with Sharon. I suspect not. The officer listened very seriously to my account of what Sharon had said, which included many details about her attackers. He took notes and followed me up and asked me follow-up questions exactly as if I had been a witness to Sharon's dying declaration. After the officer left, I was bandaged up, and the nurse took me out into the waiting area in a wheelchair. Just before we exited the emergency room, she whispered in my ear that we should keep my seeing Sharon's spirit as our little secret. It was not until that moment that I realized that Sharon was a ghost. In response to my frightened questions, the nurse said this was not the first time that she had seen a victim of being killed spirit hung around to testify, and Sharon was lucky to have found someone who could hear her so quickly. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right words so that YouTube approves. But it's when someone unalives someone else. That's the M word. I do not know if the police ever caught Sharon's attackers. I was certainly never contacted to testify. I imagine that the officer would have had a hard time reconciling the hospital records of when she died with when I arrived. I do know, however, that I was correct about where her various wounds were, because the officer checked my account against a drawing in her chart, and I am positive that Sharon wanted her story told. Other than talking with the police officer, I have kept this as a secret between me and the nurse for all of these years. I have reservations about passing it along at all, because one wouldn't want to touch off a spate of emergency room victims making things up about one another. Yet, if this is a common type of a spirit appearance, I am surprised that I've never seen or heard a similar story. And that's that one. That's a strange one, right? Wow. One of those instances where a spirit can't leave until something is finalized for them. And so I guess being able to tell her story helped her move on, hopefully. And I hope her attackers were brought to justice. Okay, I'm going to try to draw her in her hospital bed the best that I can. So bear with me. This is quite the drawing that I have to do. Make sure you guys can see me and what I am doing. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to work my way up to... No, I'll just do it. Okay. We should have like a pillow here. And I'm just going to do this. This is going to be the bed rail. I'll finish that after I finish everything else here. Okay, I'm going to make her hair. And I'm not sure what her hair looks like. That wasn't mentioned, but I'm going to give her a ponytail up on the pillow. And try to draw her profile when she's laying down. This is a difficult one to do. What did you think about that story? I mean, has anybody else ever heard? Has anyone ever heard of such a thing? Being relayed from a hospital? Read about it, whatever? Maybe even know someone who might have experienced it, or... I mean, that is kind of strange. I can see where that would happen, though. There's a lot of things going on in a hospital and a lot of fatalities. And so, yeah, I'm guessing that that would be something that would happen. Those are teardrops, by the way, in case it doesn't look right. I cannot get her forehead into her face here. It's kind of hard. I have a reference photo, but it's still not... Maybe if I do it this way and not draw her sideways, maybe I'll have a better luck. think this is what's goofing me up, doing her ear like that. Should be back here further. And her chin's looking funky. I'm really having trouble with the face. Believe me, I'm not a people. I've always have had a hard time drawing people. One way or another. It's not an easy thing. Now I have to draw her looking halfway decent as a person here. And her chin's not looking right. Her chin comes off of her lip here and comes down around. That's her pillow. Okay, let's try to draw the rest of her. I'm not drawing her whole body, just her similar. I have her crying because that's the way she was first saw. She was crying really bad. And her lady next to her saw her struggling. I'm going to draw her hand over her belly a little bit. I always have days where sometimes things can look good and sometimes things can look crazy, and I think this is one of those crazy days where I can't really get the idea that I want to cross here. Either way, you know what? I'm just going to abandon that whole thing to make my life a little easier and just have her hand like that. I'm going to try to make it as though she's just laying there and she can't really move that well because she's had all these issues happen to her. And then we have the bed rail. Which just totally eliminated that arm to begin with. See what I mean? You gotta, this is just ridiculous today. Wow-wee. Okay. Lots of erasing. There, still got her arm in. She's got the bed, she's got the arm in there, the bed rail. And this is probably what the curtain, I don't know if the curtain, where the curtain would have been. If it would have been just a little bit. You know, the hospital beds, they're just so wonky. I'm going to do this as if it was the gurney that she came in on from the ambulance. The best that I can do. have no idea. I can't remember what the ambulance gurneys look like, even though I was a first responder for 2 years. I don't have it in my head anymore what they look like, so I'm just taking a guess. I mean, this isn't the whole gurney. This is just part of it, like this part up here, and then the rest of this mechanical crap is down toward the other end of the body. There's 2 sections that have these wheels that can fold up underneath when they're going into the ambulance. Nowadays they have so many easier things to do that to get a person in their ambulances. It's almost like motorized stuff. And we struggled. Oh my gosh, it was back in the 90s. That's how long ago it was. And I was doing that until I had gotten hurt at the state hospital. I had that I don't know if you guys had seen my scar here. When a patient went manic, and I was one-on-one with him, and he he was a lot bigger than I was, so he overpowered me, and it was hard. And I ended up ripping 4 tendons in my wrist. But I had gone almost a half a year because it went through workman's comp. I went through almost a half a year of people thinking I just sprained my wrist. When I finally went and found my own hand specialist, went to him, and he said that this should have been cared for right away, because by the time he got to me, the 4 tendons that I had tore were shredding. So there wasn't much for him to work with. So my wrist is fused a little bit. I mean, I can still use it, but I don't have the full, like, you can see how much my hand bends. So that's it. This is normal, and this is how my hand does now. So it's just, and my fingers don't, I think my pinky will never straighten out whatsoever. But I have a hard time with grips at times and things like that. But you know what? Working with those people, it was worth it. Whatever injury that I had gotten, it was mild compared to what their lifestyles were. Anywho, I hope this makes sense as a picture of the girl next door who was sad because of everything that happened to her, passed away because of the needs of others. And hopefully, like I said, her attackers got what they needed to have coming to them. And it was just luck that her spirit hung on long enough to be able to release whatever was going on and made it restless. And like I said, if you have ever heard any kind of stories like this, please leave them in the comments, and I shall leave with saying always stay happy, stay healthy, stay true to yourself, stay focused, stay aware, and stay tuned for the next video, which shall be Monday, unless the weekend brings me to videotape either happenings here, or if we go for a walk or whatever this weekend. If the weather's nice, we might just go do that, and I'll have that posted as well. So thank you so much for stopping by. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, because I've just checked, and at least 51% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed. Please, it doesn't cost anything. Help my channel out a little bit, and thank you to all who have already subscribed. You guys are awesome. And with that, I shall see you later. Bye bye for now.